All right, how's it going, everybody? This is the Trophy Chasers podcast, episode 3. Got a lot to talk about. Got a pretty good show going on. How are you guys doing today?
Pretty good, man.
Have a lot of time to play these new releases we finally got. Finally have some games this week.
It's been a while, but it's been worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out where I'm going to get all the time, especially in the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's gonna get pretty hectic, but I've been waiting for it, so I'm looking forward to it. Got a lot to talk about today. A few news stories that overlapped from last week, just a couple in that sense. There wasn't a whole lot last week. Most of it was just Xbox rumors and stuff, so not a lot on the PlayStation side. That with no new releases kind of gave us very little content to work with, so we opted out of doing a show last week, so that was the reason for that. We are back this week. We plan to be back next week as well, so it shouldn't be a normal thing, just a one-time thing. But thank you guys for swinging by, sticking with the show, and keeping it going. Where should we start? We've got a lot of news and new releases and stuff we've been playing. What would you like to start with this week? Any suggestions?
I think I've tried to chunk in as much gameplay as possible. I know I wrapped up Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. I know we spoke about that briefly, I believe, last week.
Yeah.
You know, I'm glad they brought it over. And what's interesting is how much money they made off of this, how successful it is. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see other games make the port. You know, I don't know if they built out the assets, for BioWare, BioShock Infinite. Certainly I would love to see The Last of Us come over. But absolutely a beautiful game. Super fun to play. So, but very happy that I'm done with it. And outside of Walking Dead and Wolf Among Us, I've been living in Token, Age of Demons, pretty much this whole week. The greatest demo of all time. Yeah, so.
Yeah. My guy, did you play that demo at all?
I've dabbled in it for a little bit. I've just got in kind of like right past the intro, and eventually I'm going to get back to it and try to spend a little bit more time on it.
Yeah, that's about where I am too. It's way too much like Soul Sacrifice. It's almost like playing the same game.
Is it?
Yeah. So if you like this, you really like Soul Sacrifice. The inventory system's different, but that's pretty much it. Like when you go kill an enemy and you like absorb their power or whatever it is in that, it's exactly the same as Soul Sacrifice. So I was shocked to see so many similarities between the two, but I liked what I played. I think I picked the wrong weapon choice to start off with. I was using the bow.
That's what I used, and it's a very funky weapon. Now, what's amazing is how deep the gameplay is, and if after you guys get past where you are and you start to do general missions, you'll find the leader of the clan in the middle of the main open area, and he'll actually offer training. And what amazed me is how deep the actual gameplay and mechanics for the bow is. And it becomes a pretty incredible tool once you know how to use it, specifically Runner Red, and with respect to some of the upgrades that comes with it. So, and you mentioned that it's a soul sacrifice. I'm sorry, my guy, but I've been hearing a lot of folks talk about how similar it is to Monster Hunters as well.
See, I've never played Monster Hunter.
And I haven't either.
Yeah. I wanted to.
I went with the gauntlets in that game, the big fence.
So now?
I went with the gauntlets in it.
Yeah, those looked really cool.
It's a little slow and sluggish, but it's kind of what you expect from kind of like the tank brawler and weapon set. But it was just a little awkward doing it on the first guy that you fight, and probably once I play a little bit more, get a real feel for it, how it works out.
All right, so the interesting thing also, and this is for folks who's thinking about grabbing the demo, you have a little bit of time before it's released, is that virtually everything in the demo progresses into the main game through the save file. And so any materials that you collect, your inventory, as Fliptriq mentioned, as well as your weapon upgrades, your money or mana, and any of the souls or minera I don't have it in front of me, so I might mispronounce it. But those are the actual soldiers or former warriors that absorbed by the demons. They actually migrate as well. So the time sink placed into that game is not lost. So the demo, it transfers over.
That's good to hear. Soul Sacrifice actually did that too.
Did it?
Yes.
There's
so many similarities.
From Soul Sacrifice. It absorbed it.
Yeah. We kind of briefly mentioned what we were talking about. For those of you who missed that, we're talking about Tukaiden, The Age of Demons. It's a Vita demo that's available right now. I think it came out a couple weeks ago. The retail game comes out on the 11th. So it's a pretty fun action RPG. So it's definitely worth checking out. It's a very deep demo. A lot of gameplay there. And I feel like I said, I started with the bow. I feel like I should have picked the katana. I think that would be a lot easier to use, just because the aiming mechanics on the bow seem irritating at times.
Yeah, you can switch anytime, which is
you can?
really cool. The trophy requirements for it seem to be pretty reasonable. There's one requirement that requires you to catch every single. I'm calling it mantra. That's the wrong name for it. These are the souls absorbed by the demons. They release once you defeat the demons. But there's about 200 of them, and there's specific places and times that you have to fight in order for you to actually get these guys.
Yep.
And they're random when they get released, but you can farm the specific location and time to get them. So apparently that's the only real time sink. It's probably going to be one of those 100 plus hour platinum type of deals.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so if you guys do continue to play, if anybody thinks they're going to dive into it, or think about diving into it before the game gets released, I highly recommend you talking to your the clan leader and going through training for the particular weapon that you want. Pretty impressed with how deep the actual combat mechanics are.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it more. Is there anything else you played? I don't want to spend too much time on this because we have so much to talk about this week.
Yeah, I also played a little bit of it's an older game. It's what is it called? Gosh darn it, Ethan Meteor Hunter.
Okay.
The demo just got released a couple days ago on PSN.
Yeah, I saw that.
The game was released back in October of last year.
Right.
It's relatively cheap, but it's one of those puzzle-based platformers.
Mm-hmm. I looked at the screenshots for it, and it looked intriguing. At that time, I didn't pick it up.
You know what? It's for the price. If you're a puzzle platformer guy or gal, it's pretty doggone fun. It's the cool thing about it is that the mechanics are very simple. You don't have to twist your fingers in a knot to make it do things, but it's all based on this pause mechanism where you can move things around within the small box, and then unpause, and then action upon whatever your environment you're in to get past the level. I thought that was pretty interesting. I'm not a great puzzle guy, but I had fun in the demo. And just like with Tiny Brains, I got to catch myself and not bash these games because they're not my game type.
Right.
But they're intriguing and they're fun, but my attention span is super short for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see that. Sometimes those puzzle platformers, if they're not done a certain way, they can feel really repetitive really fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just don't want to take nothing from it though. I mean, the developers, very, very proactive out there on Steam, pushing the green light, and I just wish these indies, man, so much of the best. And it's a solid game, very solid game.
Yeah. Yeah. My guy, what have you been up to this week? What have you been playing?
Completed episode 2 of The Wolf Among Us.
Oh, hold on. I just want to stop you right there. After we're done with the traditional show, we're going to do like a spoiler cast for episode 2. So we're not going to spoil anything while we're talking about it now, but we'll briefly talk about a few things. And then at the end of the show, we'll do a spoiler cast. And there'll be an alert on the screen so you know to mute your speakers if you don't want to have anything ruined for you. But we'll be doing that afterwards. So sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to mention that real fast.
That's all right. I really enjoyed it, just like I had enjoyed the first episode of it. Been playing Sonic Generations. It's nice to see a good quality Sonic game out there.
Mm-hmm.
But and then just been playing some stuff on the PS Vita and the PSP. And that's been about it.
Sonic Generations, that's the one where it takes the different levels from the different Sonic games?
Yeah, it's
okay.
Like, it's the newer Sonic and kind of like the original Sonic from the Genesis days, and it combines them together. It's pretty neat. I'd say it's a lot better than what's come out in the last 10 years or so.
Yeah, I played it back when it first got released, and I liked what I played. It was a fun game.
So Flip, I left a couple things out, but go ahead. I played. I need 10 people to hold my hand to continue to play Outlast. We can talk about that later.
Yeah, that's what I was actually just about to bring up. Personally, myself, I started BioShock Infinite finally a couple days ago. I finished the game. I have all like the miscellaneous trophies and everything out of the way. The only thing I've left is the hard mode, which they call 1999 mode. There's an announcement that the trailer came out for episode 2 of the DLC, so I thought that was about to come out. So I kind of expedited my plans on playing that and got that out of the way just so I could be ready for the DLC. I haven't started the first episode of Burial at Sea, but I played the game. I thought it was really good. It started off I had a lot of fun with it at the beginning, and then about halfway through the game, the story took a weird turn that I didn't really agree with, and then they just focused on that for the remainder of it. But for what they did, I thought the story was really good. I wouldn't have gone the same route myself, but it's definitely a Game of the Year contender. I thought it was really good.
How long did it take you to get through the main story?
Probably 9 or 10 hours or so.
That's pretty good.
It didn't feel very long. Yeah, it was good though. The combat's very, very good. Opening tears and getting support from Elizabeth is pretty cool how they did that. Throughout the game, Elizabeth, you don't have to protect her, but you're escorting her throughout the entire game. But she can fend for herself in combat, so you don't have to worry about protecting her. So that was helpful. And then as you're scavenging for loot, every once in a while she'll find something, like she'll find health kits or coins, and she'll throw them at you and you can catch them. So she kind of helps you in that regard too. It was pretty neat how they did that. Yeah, I really liked it. I'm looking forward to the hard mode playthrough. So.
All right, so I'm next. I gotta play it too.
Yeah, the trophies are actually pretty reasonable. There's like 137 collectibles. I followed a trophy guide or a collectible guide in my first playthrough, so I didn't have much trouble with that. Other than that, it's just get a certain number of kills with various weapons and use your vigors in certain ways to kill enemies. So pretty easy. Like I said, I got all the miscellaneous trophies out in one playthrough without trying too hard. So
it's good.
Yeah.
That's always the hardest part to me when it comes to those type of games. I think once you get through your normal, typically if there's a escalator where you have to be hard or very hard mode, that's my most exciting part, right? I always look forward to it. But getting rid of those collectibles and that multiplayer function. Once I get that away, I can really start enjoying the game. So
right.
That's encouraging.
That's what I wanted to do, was get all that stuff out of the way so I can, when I start the 1999 mode, I can play it however I want, use the weapons that I preferred, rather than having to switch and feel forced to use certain weapons in certain situations. So glad I got all that out of the way. Other than that, I played The Wolf Among Us episode 2. Really, really enjoyed it. I've got a lot of good things to say about that. There's a lot shorter than episode 1, but I think it was more interesting. They would have to do the setup, that like the storyline setup, the character development was already set up in the previous episode, but I thought it was really good. We'll get to that, like I said, at the end of the show. And then I played Outlast. Played that on Tuesday night. I didn't finish it. I'm at the last section, the female ward, I think. It got me a few times. I can watch horror movies and play horror games. I rarely get scared. I don't remember the last time I jumped. Outlast got me a couple times.
Can I tell you my playthrough real quick? And folks, This is going to take about 30 seconds. So pull up in your Jeep, You get out, you get your mechanics down, and it's pretty simple, right?
Right.
Run, jump, duck, open up the door. And I work my way around, I look at a window, there's something happening, the lights goes off, and I climb up and I go through the window, right? I'm not spoiling anything for you guys.
Right. This is like the first 30 seconds of the game, so.
I go in, I crawl through a duct because I figure that's the safest place, and I drop down, and there's this library. I walk in the library, lightning flashes, people are hanging with their heads off, and this person in hell begins to talk to me. Get the heck out of here. It's crazy. Run for your life. And you know what I do, guys? I go right back up the ventilator, go right back through, drop back down, and try to go back out the same door that I came in the first time, and the door was locked. And I said, oh, shoot. And I just turned off the freaking game.
That's where you stopped?
That's where I stopped.
I
tried to leave.
If you look out of it, as like there's like right when you come into it, and you look out to the left, through it, someone comes in there in the room after you, and it closes the door behind you and locks it.
I didn't see that.
I did see that because I looked back. There was a guy says, "This is crazy. I got to get out of here." And yeah, I do recall seeing that. Yep.
Yeah. It's a pretty short game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just need to have daylight and somebody sitting next to me.
Yeah. I heard it's only like 4 hours long. The trophies are also pretty reasonable. There's 62 collectibles that you have to go through. 31 things you have to record, which I think is kind of odd because it doesn't tell you when you're recording a collectible until after you've done it. So unless you have the camera out the entire time, which almost doesn't seem like there's any reason to not. It doesn't slow you down when you're using the camera, which I thought was kind of strange. Why do we have an option to whether or not to use the camera here? That kind of didn't make any sense to me. Unless on the harder difficulties, the battery drains throughout the entire time you have the camera up. I don't know. Because on normal is what I'm playing it on. When you use night vision is the only time the battery drains.
Oh, well, I have my camera on, and I don't have night vision on, but the camera is still draining. I had to change my batteries once, even in my short playthrough. And it looked like there's 10, I guess you have the option to change your batteries 10 times, and I'm hoping that there's some more batteries somewhere. Yeah,
there's batteries scattered all over the place.
Okay.
The 10 counter is just how many you can have at one time. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But they're all over the place. There's portions of the game where you're using probably like 5 or 6 batteries through certain sections. I liked it. I'm going to try to keep this spoiler free, but the very first objective you have to do is turn the power on. And when you're doing that, you have to go find the generator, and you're in the dark in this basement that's flooded. You have to go find the generator, and then that tells you there's like 2 switches you need to flip and a button you have to press or something. So you go find the first switch, you pull a switch, and then there's somebody behind you, and you have to like get away from them. And then you go do the second one, same thing happens. And then the third one, the exact same thing happens. And they keep that formula throughout the entire game. And I felt like that got repetitive. The first hour of the game I thought was really scary, had me on the edge of my seat. I was intrigued. The game was really immersive, which I liked. But after that first hour, it just felt like doing the same thing over and over again. You have a different environment, different objectives, but the same formula is there throughout the rest of the game. And that was my biggest complaint with it.
Well, that's encouraging. So now I just got to get past the first hour.
Right. Yeah. I thought I haven't played Amnesia, which I know this is very similar to. So I don't know much about that. But I thought it was an interesting angle they took, how you don't have weapons. You don't have a gun, you don't have a knife or anything like that. Your only means of survival is actually to run away and hide. There's like lockers you can hide in, beds you can crawl under. That's it. If you get caught by something walking around and they start chasing you, trying to kill you, you just turn, book it, beeline it to the nearest locker room and hide yourself. And hopefully you're able to get to that hiding spot before the thing chasing you gets near you so that they don't see you. So it kind of adds to that survival element, or the horror element quite a bit in that regard. So I thought that was an interesting route that they took. Not a lot of games do that, where you don't have any weapons. So it was cool.
running and hiding.
Yeah. But it was very good. If anybody out there is looking for something scary, something really creepy, I'd highly recommend this. There's torture, cannibalism, necrophilia, self-mutilation. It's all there. There's everything you can think of is in this game. So I'd highly recommend it. Like I said, it's only a 4-hour playthrough for the first playthrough. The trophies are pretty easy. The hardest one is the only gold trophy in the game, is to beat the game on Insane, which if you get hit once, you die. But I heard once you have played the game once and you know where everything's at, you can beat the game in under an hour.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, aside from that, I think that was all that I've played. Talked about BioShock, brushed up on The Wolf Among Us. I lost my save in Final Fantasy 13. I think I told you guys that. I got caught up to where I was at and progressed a little bit further. I had the collector's edition pre-ordered from SquareEnix.com, but I guess they don't ship it till the day prior to release, so I'm not going to get it on the release day, which I'm kind of disappointed with, but I guess it gives me more time to finish the rest of the series. So that's I've got a lot to do this weekend. That's going to be a big chunk of it. Yesterday I got invited to the Elder Scrolls Online beta.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so that's pretty exciting. The beta starts tomorrow at like 10 a.m. and goes until Monday at midnight. So I'll be playing that a little bit just to see if it's something I want to play, because I'm a big MMO fan. I like checking on the new MMOs out, and I don't know how this one's gonna kind of stack up to it.
You know what? I'm interested to hear your feedback on that, because the one thing that Skyrim, not Skyrim, but the Merlin series have never done well is combat. I mean, or at least physical combat.
Right.
It's always floating air hack, and so outside of magic, I'm really interested to see what your thoughts are. You know,
right.
from just physical weightiness of your weapons and such.
Yep. I'm looking forward to checking it out. I'm kind of frustrated with Bethesda, though. We had all the Skyrim issues with the game not running on PS3 very, very well, DLC not coming to PS3 at all, and I'm almost positive at E3 they announced there's going to be an exclusive PS4 demo. It was going to be like a timed exclusive. You'd be able to play the beta on the PS4 a month before anything else. The beta I got was for the PC, and I looked through the forums, and there's like a recent post that says there's no announcement for a PS4 beta even in the works. So that's kind of frustrating to me. But
well, maybe that was just code speak to say that it's going to come out before the Xbox One.
I don't know. I think that's another thing too. The game doesn't come out on the same day. It comes out in April for PC and I think May or June for consoles, which is strange. Yep. So if you want to play it first, you have to get it for the PC. So that kind of rubs me the wrong way as well. But anyway, I'm not very happy with Bethesda. So I might not be picking this game up unless it's really good. But it might be a biased review, but I'll play quite a bit of it. I'll give it a fair shake.
There you go.
Yeah. Is there any other stuff you guys played that you want to talk about, or are you ready to get into some news? We've got a lot to cover here.
You recommended Dust Force?
Oh, that's right. That came out this week too. I forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me.
So yeah, I played that as well, and again, it's not my type of game, so I don't want to bash it, but
right.
It doesn't deserve to be bashed. It actually is a really, really funky platformer.
Yeah.
My respect. You know, I already picked my favorite character. I was going to play the old man. The old concept of sweeping up leaves and knocking leaves off of animals to free them in the forest. I thought was pretty interesting. It can get a little frustrating with respect to some of the clear methods. You know, running and dashing to jump on the walls, and you really have to have some super quick reflexes and understand the controls very well in order to pull those moves off. And obviously with these types of games, they're all time-based. I guess there's rewards associated with how fast you can clear a particular level. Yeah, I thought it was interesting. Not my cup of tea. Um, but I don't have. I guess I'm not qualified to have any major complaints. But you are, Fliptriq. You
Why
are
is that?
qualified
Why is that?
because you crush guacamole, so you can speak about all these types
Oh.
of games.
It's not really similar to Guacamelee, I wouldn't say. I'd say it's more like Super Meat Boy. Just that precision platformer. There's no combat in it at all. Well, I guess kind of a little bit when you're trying to free the animals. Did you have problems with the controls? Because I felt like when I was trying to jump up to do like the ceilings or do the wall climbs, it almost seemed like it didn't work on the controller.
So I did, but I blamed myself on that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's
Um,
me or if it's the game. That's why I wanted some other feedback.
yeah. So yeah, I think it was me. It wasn't something that I could do consistently.
Right.
And so, I was able to clear every level that I was on, but instead of clearing it in a minute and 30 seconds, mine was like 5 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yeah.
And I thought that
Yeah.
sucked. And most of my issues was those dash moves where I had to get on the top of the wall and run across the top of the wall, and I could never pull that off the right way.
Right.
And so I stopped short at playing in the game. Um, I would hope and think that most of that stuff should be relatively easy. I'm not saying it should be easy to do all the time, but basic control mechanisms I think always should be easy. It didn't seem to be the case.
Yeah. I thought the game looked
And I
great.
hope that's just me though.
I thought the game looked great. The art style was really creative. The sound design seemed to be really good. Just like I said, I don't know. The controls I had some issue with, and I don't know if it was me or the actual control system. I guess the game came out on PC 2 years ago, and it just got released for PS3 and Vita. It's like a cross-buy. Is it cross-buy? I don't remember. I didn't buy the game, so I just played the demo. Okay. I'm not sure if it's cross-buy or not. I'd imagine it is. I think it is. There's no word on an Xbox release, so I don't know if it's coming out to that. I remember when the game first came out, though, there was no controller support at all, so that kind of leads me to believe that the control issue is within the game and not myself. But I don't know for sure.
Okay.
The trophies in that one, not reasonable at all. I didn't even want to start it. If I'm having issues with like the tutorial levels in the demo, I'd imagine the game gets way harder at the end. You have to clear each level with a double S rank, and it's a pretty long game. I guess I don't know how many levels there are, but pretty close to 100 from what it looked like.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. So, for the record, I guess I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one, but I do play my games based on, in part, not fully, but based in part on the trophy requirements. I don't shy away from hard trophies, but I do take a deep breath and think hard before I get into unbearable trophies.
Yeah.
Specifically those ones that require me to play 400 hours or
Right.
accomplish something like double S rank in a game that I don't like to play.
Yeah. The way I've said this before in various videos that I've done, I won't let a trophy list stop me from playing a good game, but I'm not going to play a bad game if the trophies aren't achievable. So I'll play a bad game if the trophies are easy. I'll sit through that. But if it's a game I'm not really looking forward to, and the trophy list is just unreal, I'm probably not going to play it. But if it's a good game, like one of those AAA titles, like if BioShock's trophies were ridiculous, I'd still want to play the game. Not being able to get a completion doesn't always necessarily stop me, but in some cases it does if the game's not something that I'm really looking forward to playing.
It's a joy. It's a joy to knock out very difficult trophies for a game that you actually love. I always go back to Catherine. I like the game a lot. I guess I like the story, and I like the puzzles, but the randomness of getting up some of those temples. I found myself one morning and I was playing it, and I just said, "Why am I playing this? I have zero. I'm not enjoying this. I feel like it's a chore, and you know what? I'm not going to do it anymore." And I had to back away from it.
Yeah.
I realized I've been playing that game for about 5 hours and not enjoying a single bit. So anyway, that's one of the ones that had some. I don't think they're incredibly hard. They are absolutely tedious and can be somewhat unfair trophy requirements.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're not enjoying a trophy, it's very difficult. Or our game is very difficult to get through it.
Right. What's your take on this, Mike Guy?
Well, I haven't tried the Dust Force are the demo for it. So, like, I may, give it a go, but I know for myself when it comes to, like, anything with, trophies or anything like that, I'm more in it for the gameplay itself, and then,
Right.
like, as of right now, I'll go through and kind of glance through the trophies, like the Sonic Generations, because that's the main thing I'm playing right now that has trophies to it. I got it through GameFly. I'm probably going to send it back tomorrow without even beating it, just because it's, like, I enjoy it, but I think it's a little too tedious to be able to advance to the next level on some things for what I want out of the Sonic game personally.
Mm-hmm.
But, I'm enjoying it. I've looked at the trophies to think, is this something that I want to do, that I want to sink the time in, or, do I think I'm gonna, the beginning levels I've enjoyed. I enjoyed the main levels, but some of the side stuff it puts in there that you have to do to advance, I really don't care much for.
Right.
You didn't have to worry about some of that, and it was just S-rank missions, then, I'd probably, beat it, or, probably look to, get the platinum on it. But as it stands right now, I'll probably play a little bit more maybe tonight and tomorrow, and send it back in the mail either tomorrow evening or Saturday.
Yeah, I don't remember if that game came out in 2011 or 2012, but it's been quite a while since I played it. I don't remember having any issues with the progression of the game. The only issue I had was like the final boss fight. I didn't complete it. I didn't get all the I actually played it on Xbox. So yeah, it's been over 2 years since it came out.
I just don't like
the final boss fight's really confusing. Other than that, I didn't have issues with the game.
Like like I enjoy it. Like I said, I think it's probably the best Sonic game to come out since Sonic Adventure.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there.
At least in my opinion.
Right.
But you've got to do challenges to get. You got to complete a challenge to get a key, and just going through and doing some of the challenges, it just gets a little repetitive, or a little overly tedious for like a Sonic game. I guess when I think of a Sonic game, what I want is something either more akin to what Sonic Adventure offered us, or going back to the original Genesis games.
Right. Did you ever play Sonic the Hedgehog 4, Episode 1 and 2?
I've played the demo of it, and it's like I've thought about buying it, but the only reason I haven't is just because I don't want to pay. I forget how much it costs right now, but I don't want to buy it for what it's going for currently. But
Yeah.
It is definitely something that I have wanted to play because.
Did you like the demo?
Oh yeah, I did.
Okay. I never played it. I was always curious. I almost got into it, but I never did.
It's more of a classic Sonic game
Yeah.
than what they've done. I just don't think the price is worth it.
Yeah.
Currently.
Yeah, I didn't like how they did it episodic. I thought that was strange. And I think Episode 2 wasn't supposed to be the end, but they canceled the project.
Yeah, my guess would be it probably didn't sell as well as they hoped, because
Probably.
you look at all the crappy Sonic games that have come out, and it's
Like
not
Sonic
to say
Colors.
that- it's not to say that people haven't enjoyed them, and I don't want to diminish someone else's enjoyment from some of these other Sonic games that have come out, but a lot of people have probably, myself included, have lost faith in what Sega can do with Sonic brand over the last decade plus.
Yeah. All right. I think that wraps up everything we've been playing. We've probably spent more time than we should have. So this episode's probably going to be pretty lengthy. We'll try to get through some of this news pretty quick. We'll start off with something, pretty much the only thing that happened last week. The Sly Cooper movie, they released a trailer for it. Comes out in 2016. I was kind of excited to see that. So that means 2015 we've got the Ratchet and Clank movie, and now in 2016 we have the Sly Cooper movie. So there might be a Jak and Daxter movie coming in 2017.
And there's supposed to be the Heavenly Sword too that's coming out.
Oh, that's right.
Oh.
And Need for Speed comes out next month.
Except for the fact that the CG associated with that Heavenly Sword trailer is about 10 times worse than the actual game graphics. That was very disappointing. So as soon as I saw it, I was convinced that it was some fan-made hack.
Yeah.
Until I traced it all the way back to Sony, and so I'm hoping that they're gonna tighten that up before they put it out there. And I'm pretty sure it's not gonna obviously be a mainstream release, but probably something that's gonna be available for purchase immediately.
Right.
But speaking of Sly Cooper, so incredibly excited about that. I actually looked at the trailer yesterday, and beautiful, man. I love the fact that they didn't go with the shell shape. That it's actually traditional. It's traditional.
CG.
I guess traditional graphics that we might see in Pixar.
Right.
Very wonderful. And the only thing that shocked me outside of just the fun play that the characters had, the banter associated with each other, is Bentley. Bentley does have a slightly different look. He looks more like a hippo in the face. That was a little weird to look at. But thank goodness he's still pink.
Yeah.
Other than that, I loved it.
I don't know how I feel about the graphic change. Like Ratchet & Clank, it looks just like the same graphics from the game. So I think I would have liked the cel-shaded movie look. That could have been cool. But
I think it's just nice to see some of these properties getting a little bit of attention and love outside of their regular video game releases.
yeah.
So it's always nice when that happens, especially when it looks like with Ratchet and Clank and Sly Cooper at least, they're going to be pretty high profile, high quality projects that are being done.
And for the record, I don't know if I called Bentley Murray Bentley, but I meant Murray.
Right.
Because you know what, you just can't mess with Murray. Yeah, he is. I don't know if you had a chance to look at it yet, my guy, but definitely check out the trailer and give me your opinion on Murray as well.
I thought it looked pretty good for what it was. It's they've all got a little bit of an adjusted look, but granted, Murray's is the most compared to Sly and Bentley. But it's like overall, I would say that they look pretty good, close to their in-game companions would, and except Murray. But if we get another Sly game, which I would say this is probably pretty indicative that we're going to see another one, you'll probably see something. You may see Murray adopt that look from the movie.
Damn.
I hope not. I love the traditional Murray, which is part of the reason why the trailer shocked me a little bit. But again, I thought it was a wonderful trailer. I love the CG. I love the look, and I love the fact that the same voice actors, the same banter that we've grown to love associated with those Sly Cooper games are still there. And they're still doing stupid stuff like robbing the police station from donuts when the traditional donut store closes. So I'm gonna make my kids see that movie twice. So it's gonna do good. Gosh darn it, if I have anything to do with it.
Speaking of video game franchises coming to theaters, are you guys gonna check out the Need for Speed movie? I think it comes out next month. Yeah.
I can say with a definitive no that I'll be more than happy to skip that.
Yeah.
Maybe when it's on.
I'm probably gonna have to go see it, guys.
I'm probably gonna end up seeing it too.
So what now, Mike?
Oh, when it's on FX in a couple of years, then I'll watch it. But outside of that, I'm sorry. There's just some things that, like Need for Speed, I don't feel it lends itself, to a movie. It's more or less just using the name for brand recognition, if anything.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's going to be really similar to Fast and Furious. I don't think it's going to really feel like Need for Speed, but I'm probably going to go check it out and see what it's like, see what it's about.
Nothing like that cross-country race. So yeah, I'm going to see it. It's going to be my son and I. And he's going to tell me how awesome it is. And so I'm going to be very limited with my critique.
All right. Sounds good. The next piece of news we've got... PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 3 both got updates. So I don't remember the file size, but it was pretty quick. Both consoles added support to the new headset that comes out. PS4 finally added support for their Elite Pulse headset, which if you guys don't have, that's the one I'm using. It's great. I love it. It has the rumble feature that the DualShock controller has with the 7.1 surround sound. It's really good. For games like, probably the best example of this is Call of Duty. For all the people who like play, I don't do this at all, but I don't even care about this, but it's the easiest way to describe this. People who play Call of Duty online that are like really into it use the headset so they can hear the footsteps around them. So when people sneak up on them, they know they're coming. With that headset, you can feel it. So it's really cool. This headset also has like specific profiles for different games. Like The Last of Us had one, Grand Theft Auto 5, BioShock Infinite, and I guess future games coming soon. I think the next one is Infamous. We'll have a specific sound profile for that headset, which I thought was really cool. Listening to dubstep with these headphones, it's a whole new world. It changes the song completely just with the rumble. It's really cool. Yeah. So the Pulse Elite finally works on the PS4. I thought it was going to be quite a while longer before that headset got supported. I kind of found a workaround. Since I do a lot of like YouTube recording and stuff, I have a capture card, and I plugged the adapter for the headset that you usually plug into the console. Plugged that into the capture card through the audio out port, so I'm able to use the headset with the PS4, and I've had it going the whole time. So it's a quick little workaround, but I guess I don't have to do that anymore. Sony also announced the Gold wireless headset, which makes me think there might be a Platinum wireless headset coming out pretty soon. I don't know why they didn't just go with Platinum to start with, so I think there might be another edition. They didn't announce a release date, but the price is $99.99, so a little bit cheaper than the Pulse Elites. It looks pretty sleek. I don't know how I feel about the blue. Like, I like mine since it's all black and has the Sony logo on the sides and everything, but if you're looking for a high quality headset that's not $179, I think that's a good alternative.
Yeah.
Those sound profiles are pretty cool.
I have the original 7.1 surround sound, ones that Sony released a couple years back. So I can't imagine how good these yours is, your Pulse or the Gold wireless headsets are. Thinking about upgrading.
Yeah.
Just because everyone's telling me how great it sounds.
Yeah.
And I thought it was amazing. I think the original headsets came out right about the same time that Resistance 3 did. And,
okay.
And it was amazing hearing the drops, the water droplets all around me.
Yeah.
I thought that was phenomenal. But yeah, so awesome.
Just imagine if you could feel the water droplets.
Yeah, right? And then you wear those new Sony VR headsets that's coming out. And then all of a sudden, you're whipped away into virtual reality.
The next thing on our list, we've got the February PlayStation Plus outline. They announced this last week also. This week we got Outlast for the PS4 was free. Otherwise it's like $20, which I think for a 4-hour game, I don't know if I'd pay $20 for it. It's good, but I don't know if it's $20 good. We also got Metro Last Light. Then I don't have release dates for these other games, but Remember Me, Payday 2, both on PS3. And then on Vita, we've got Street Fighter Cross Tekken and Mod Nation Racers Road Trip, which is not a very good racer. So if you're looking for a good kart racer, download Sonic Transformed while it's still up. But Remember Me, great game. I really, really enjoyed it. I'm looking for... I still have the hard playthrough that I need to do for the Platinum. I just never got around to doing that. But definitely looking forward. Glad they brought that back, or they're adding it for PlayStation Plus. Looking forward to playing it again. I think the theme of the game, at least what I took from it personally, was that it's important to remember bad memories, like things that upset you, that you want to just like drive out of your memory. It's really important to remember those, so that you can appreciate the good memories. I can't really go into more of that specifically without spoilers, but that was the theme of the game that I got. And at the time that I played it, it was pretty important to me. So that's probably has a lot to do with what I why I like it so much.
Yeah. So you're a champion for this game, and I know that since it's going to be free or is free, we're going to have to check it out. But wasn't there some news recently about the developer for the game actually filing bankruptcy or going under?
I don't know. I think the game was made by Capcom, so I don't think so. But I could be wrong. I don't know.
Okay, well, we'll see. If I just it's Don't Nod Entertainment.
Oh,
It's
okay.
developer, not even published by Capcom.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've never heard of them.
Well, there was multiple reports of them filing for bankruptcy, and of course they recently came out and disputed those claims. So you know what? More power to them, and I'm going to check out this game because it was completely bashed by reviewers. And
yeah, a lot of people hated it.
Yeah, and so there's a couple of hands-on folks that said it's not that bad.
Yeah.
You included, so it's worth a shot.
The game holds your hand throughout the entire thing, though, which is usually most people's complaints. You take Uncharted's platforming and mix that with Batman's combat style. That was the similarity I was trying to remember last time we talked about the game. But the entire time you're doing the platforming, it always illuminates where you're supposed to go next. There's a yellow light that highlights where you're supposed to go and kind of breaks the immersion of the game. And I think that was the majority of people's complaints, because it feels like it's holding your hand through the whole game feels like a tutorial in that regard. But I think we'll probably end up seeing that next week. There's not a lot of Tuesdays in February, so I'd imagine we'd get one PS3 and one Vita game next week and then the other the following. But I don't know what their release schedule is. The next thing we've got a few announcements that came out. Stealth Inc. is coming to PS4. It originally came out on Steam sometime last year, called Stealth Bastard. Then came out late last year for PS3 and Vita. It was a cross-buy game. It was part of a promotion that they did. PS4 is coming out very soon. There's no release date. And they mentioned that there might be a discounted price for people who owned the game previously. Did you guys ever play that? No. It was good. I liked it. I liked what I played. It was really hard, though. There are some puzzles in that where it's just really confusing. Once you finally figure out what you're supposed to do, it's fun. It's kind of like I want to say it's like Metal Gear Solid if that was a puzzle game. But that's just a long reach for a comparison, but it does feel like that. There's no combat. It's all like a puzzle platformer, really short levels, unless you get stuck. But it's fun. I liked what I played of it.
Should have named the guy Little Snake, man. It was sold 3 times as much.
Probably. But I think Curve Studios is actually doing really well. They had quite a bit of success with the game. Also, Drakengard 3's Collector's Edition got announced yesterday. There are 5,000 copies available. It's a PS3 exclusive. Comes out, I forgot to write down the release date. I don't know. It's pretty soon, though.
End of
May
March.
20th, right? Something like that.
May 20th sounds right. I think that's it. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I knew nothing about this game until the trailer came out. They also released the first English trailer yesterday as well. I watched that. It looks really good. It's on my radar. I don't know if I'm probably not going to go with the collector's edition because I don't know. I'm not a fan of the series. I've never heard of it before, but the game looks really good. So if any of you guys are out huge Drakengard fans, I know there's somebody out there. 5,000 copies available. Make sure you get them quick. SquareEnix.com.
I'm a resident expert on this, but I'm sold on the trailer as well. It looks incredibly awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Mike, educate us.
I played a little bit of the first one back on PlayStation 2, and it's a pretty fun game. It's action RPG. It kind of has a Dynasty Warriors feel. At least that's what one of the original ones had. There's a lot of guys on screen that you're fighting, and I believe you had a dragon you could call upon. It's been a while since I played it and had it, but it was definitely a fun game, and more than likely be willing to check out the new one when it comes out.
Yeah.
Because it's I personally want to see Square getting back to, making some strong RPG type games. And I guess this is, if you've ever played the game Nier, this actually also fits into the Drakengard series, fits into that continuity.
Does it? So, do you know if the original was risque? Like this is M-rated, the one that's coming out now, and I know that Square Enix isn't known for releasing M-rated games on a consistent basis. So this is apparently a little bit more dark and risky than what they're accustomed to. Is that? Do you recall that from the previous titles?
Honestly, I just think if anything, it's going to be like the combat, and if it's going to make it, it's going to get it that risque, just because it's going to be pretty heavy as far as like combat goes in it. As far as the animated blood and whatnot. So I don't think it's anything like overtly sexual that's going to get it that rating. Just more or less the violence and graphic content is going to go along with that. So like I never thought the first game, was really really like worthy of an M rating if it got that. Trying to look and see if it tells a rating on it, but if I can find it real quick online. But it's it's a fun game, and it's definitely worth. I'd say it's definitely worth checking out.
Okay. Yeah, it looks really fun. The gameplay portions of the trailer looked really really interesting. Looks a lot like Devil May Cry, and I like that kind of combat, so it looks good. Just remember, if you buy that from Square Enix, they're not going to ship it to you until the day before release date. So if you're looking to get it on release day, this is not the route to go. I'm still very bitter about my Final Fantasy 13 Lightning Returns. Yes. What'd you say?
Expedited shipping.
Yeah. That was like $40 though to get it the next day shipping. I'm not going to do that. That's like almost the price of the game.
Pay that much for the collector's edition, you would think that they would get it there, huh?
Yeah, you'd think so.
Jeez.
Next announcement that we have, BioShock Infinite Barrel at Sea. They released a trailer. I didn't watch the trailer. I want to stay away from spoilers. I still haven't played episode 1 yet, so I don't know what it's about. I just know you go back into Rapture from BioShock 1. It's like it's before Rapture. I don't know the word I'm looking for. Sunk, I think. I don't know. I don't remember what I'm trying to say. Anyway, you play as Elizabeth this time, so that should be pretty cool. I don't feel like it's going to change the combat too much, though. Aside from her not being as experienced as Booker, I don't think it's going to be that much different. Because when you're playing BioShock, there's the tears in the world, and she's the one who controls them. But you tell her which tears to open and when to open them. You just press square, so I'd imagine it'd be the exact same control scheme. So I don't think that's going to change at all. I think the only real difference is just, I saw a screenshot of it, and Elizabeth's hand's in the frame, and you can see her fingernails. I think that's really going to be the only thing that's different as far as mechanics. But that comes out March 25th. I thought it was going to be this upcoming Tuesday, which is why I made sure to knock out the game as fast as I could. But it looks like I've got another month and a half. So, looking forward to it. Should be cool. Yeah. I heard episode 1 was kind of underwhelming, so I don't know if they're just building up to episode 2 or what the case was. Like I said, I haven't played it myself, but I heard it's short and underwhelming. Yep.
Well, I'm right around the corner with it. I'm gonna give it a go. I have to. I can't be super biased with respect to Game of the Year assessments, and only have played one of the primary 2 that gets always lifted up. So I have to play BioShock.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'll speak to that next week.
Without spoilers or anything, there's no correlation between BioShock and BioShock Infinite at all.
That's what I heard.
There's a reason it's called BioShock Infinite and not BioShock 3. And they go into that later in the game. But until you get to the end, you'll know the correlation and you'll understand everything that would correlate between the two without having played BioShock.
All right.
Yeah. Then we've got some news from Ubisoft. A few Assassin's Creed 4 things. They finally announced or released the patch on, I think it was just PS4. I didn't see anything about PS3, but that fixes the friend issues. So those trophies that weren't able to unlock finally are. And then Assassin's Creed Freedom Call is going to be released as a standalone game, which I thought was kind of strange. PS3 and PS4 exclusive, $14.99, no release dates. It's the exact same as the DLC.
Yeah. So let me just speak a little bit about this Assassin's Creed patch fix. I got the plat on Assassin's Creed, and the only reason why I was able to get that plat is because I engaged in deleting about 30 or so of my friends list,
Right.
So that I can get below the 100 and actually participate in some of the sharing and scaring. Because that's the only way that you can get the sharing and scaring trophy, from sending information to your friends list. It doesn't register it if you're above 100. So the silence that Ubisoft had on their forums with respect to this issue from November of last year to present day was deafening. And
Oh, that's right. It's been 3 months.
How many people complained
Right.
of this? So anyway, congrats. Hopefully they bumped the number up to 5,000, so it never happened again. This issue was present in Assassin's Creed 3 whenever you went over 50 friends. Remember, before Sony bumped up your friends list from 50 to 100. So currently the same thing happened. They added it to 200. Amazing how short-sighted that was, that you just lifted it to 100. And of course, it represented itself not only on the PS4 but also on the Xbox One as well as Steam. And so I would expect that whatever patch they placed in for PS4, that's going to be propagated to the rest of those platforms as well.
Hopefully. Because I started on PS3, and I'd like to finish it on PS3, and I don't want to delete 200 people off my friends list, so hopefully I don't have to do that. That'd be very time-consuming. Also from Ubisoft, last week there was a trademark drop for Watch Dogs. It was quite an uproar. Most people thought it was canceled. Lots of rumors going around all over Twitter and Facebook and various game forums. People freaking out all over the place that this game that they've been waiting for forever is canceled, and that was not the case. Apparently it was just a fraudulent loss of trademark. Some guy forged the head of the project's signature, and they lost the trademark, and they're trying to get it back. So doesn't affect Ubisoft said it doesn't affect the game at all. It's still coming out. Doesn't affect their release schedule at all or anything. So I personally found it funny that out of all the games, like, we've never had this happen before, except for the game where it revolves around hacking and stealing information and all that. So that made me laugh.
It's a publicity ploy.
Yeah, it almost seems like it was. It almost seems like it was. You guys have anything to say about that at all? Or we can move on?
It was a publicity stunt. It would have been better if they timed it with the actual release of the game.
Yeah.
But,
like a week or so before?
it's...
It got people talking about Watch Dogs, though.
Yeah, well, there hasn't been anything going on about it, so, brought up the conversation about it again, and now I believe they announced that they got the issue taken care of and reinstated the trademark, so, now to get people asking, when is it coming again?
Yeah.
So that's going to bring that conversation again.
Yeah. Well, like they say, any press is good press. And it got everybody talking about Watch Dogs again, so.
I'm looking forward to it, and I haven't. I think I mentioned this before, but I haven't played a lot of Assassin's Creed. I tried to play the first one, couldn't get through it, but fell in love with Assassin's Creed 4 without question, all the way through it. And but folks keep on talking about this repetitive thing, right? This follow these guys, listen to this.
That's all from Assassin's Creed 1.
Sorry?
That's all from, I'd imagine. I haven't played much of 2, but that conversation comes from Assassin's Creed 1. You go from, like, quest hub to quest hub, and you do the exact same 10 things over and over and over again, like 20 times.
Right. And that kind of happens with Assassin's Creed 4 as well. So one of the things that I'm just wondering, looking forward to, because it's two separate development teams, is whether or not Watch Dogs going to follow the same formula. I'm hoping that they don't. I can't imagine that there not be some of those elements in there.
Right.
But,
I heard that's why it got delayed.
oh, awesome.
I heard that was the reason. It was when they were doing test plays for various people that was the main complaint, was it felt too much like the first Assassin's Creed, where you're just doing the same thing over and over again. I don't know if that's true or just a rumor, but that's what I heard. And I heard that was the reason for the delay and why they had to go back to the drawing board and change a bunch of things.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a good thing.
Yeah. A couple days ago, they announced Murdered Soul Suspect, which originally coming out for PS3, Xbox 360, and PC. A couple days ago, they announced it for Xbox One, and everyone's confused on why it wasn't being announced for the PS4. Next day, they announced it for PS4. So I don't know. The way it seemed, it was almost like a timed announcement, like a timed exclusivity announcement. Because I think it was Major Nelson that announced it on his blog. And I think, I didn't check it out, but I think I heard that he said it was an exclusive. But then the next day it comes out for PS4. So
The announcement was the exclusive part.
right. It was really strange how they pulled that off. It was just odd. It got me looking at the game, though. Have you guys checked this out? I hadn't really heard anything about it. Apparently, you play as some character. At the very beginning of the game, your character gets murdered, and then you come back as a ghost, and you're investigating your own murder. I thought that was a really interesting premise.
Well, it does sound pretty interesting. I've heard about it for a while, and now that's coming out on PS4. Like, I may look into it, either renting it or possibly buying it. Something to play, but that seems like a pretty interesting concept, and seems like it'd be something that's worth a go.
Yeah.
Do you guys know what type of gameplay style it's going to be? Is it going to be something that's closer to Beyond Two Souls? Is it more of a is it more of a well, actually, I don't know. Have you heard anything about the action or combat series?
No, I haven't. When I was looking at the screenshots and just reading up on the game, in my head I pictured like a almost like a point and click adventure, kind of like the Telltale games. I'd imagine it'd be similar to that. Not the same art style, of course, but that's the gameplay that I have in mind. But I have no idea.
I could see something like that, or like some like Heavy Rain style.
Yeah.
Something that would have like a feel of what Aquatic Dream would make, but it's like I haven't, just like you, Flip, I haven't heard much about as far as the actual, like, how's it going to play. And, I think that'll be the real selling point on it for me, is how the gameplay works out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next piece of news just came out a couple days ago. They announced a Lightning Returns Final Fantasy 13-3 costume. I guess they're doing the same thing they did with previous games. It was Mass Effect 3, where you had the Final Fantasy 13 costumes in it. I didn't play Mass Effect 3, so I don't know this, but I think I remember that happening. Yeah, okay. I thought that was strange and weird and didn't need to happen at all. They're doing that again. This time they're staying within the same developer, though. Final Fantasy 13-3 will have a Lara Croft Tomb Raider costume. No release date, no pricing structure or anything like that. A lot of people are saying it might be free, which knowing Square Enix, I doubt that would be the case. But it looks weird. Have you seen the screenshots of it?
I have, and playing the demo, it's interesting to hear your comment about this, my guy, but I have no idea what elements of combat style is Lara Croft going to bring to Lightning. Is she going to pull out a double pistol? I have no idea.
She has the pickaxe that she used to climb the walls.
Oh, see, that's going to help.
Yeah.
The costume looks exactly like one of the extra costumes in the game. I think it's, I want to say, like one of the hunting costumes, like the deer hunter costume or something from the Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. It looks a lot like that. It's her basic get-up with like the camo and stuff across her face, the dirt-like stuff. So you kind of blend in with the forest environment. So it, kind of looks like that from what I've seen of the pictures. It's, for people that go and, buy the extra costumes that, want the more expandedness of what the game will offer that way. It may be something for them to enjoy.
Yeah.
And I think that's how they're going to offer a lot of DLC because, that way forward is the extra costume packs and, maybe worthwhile if it's free. Definitely be fun to check out. If you got to pay for it, more iffy then. And so it'll just be kind of a wait and see as far as it goes. Because as of right now, I think you already get like one or two extra ones right off the bat, at least.
Yeah, you get 2 for the demo, 1 for the pre-order, and 1 for the collector's edition.
Yeah, so it's anywhere between 1 to 3 extra costumes that aren't going to be built in the game originally right off the bat. So it's just a matter of how much you want to be able to expand your combat ability beyond what the initial game's going to offer.
Yeah, Square did this with Sleeping Dogs too. If you had a Just Cause 2 save file on your hard drive, you got the, I can't remember that character's name, but you got his costume in Sleeping Dogs. That one, yeah, that one I didn't have an issue with. It didn't really, I don't know, I think this Tomb Raider to Final Fantasy 13 costume sharing is a little more severe, whereas that one felt more subtle. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's my personal take. I just feel like this mixing of the franchises is kind of odd, and I don't know how I feel about it. It just seems weird.
I can tell you how I feel about it. I'm sorry. I didn't want to talk over you, Mike.
Oh, go on, man.
Here's my thing, right? So we're introduced to Sleeping Dogs, brand new IP, and they do something as innocent as throwing in a costume share, and I get that. That's okay. The game itself is fantastic. When you talk about Final Fantasy games, you talk about Tomb Raider, those distinct franchises. I do feel like it cheapens Lightning a little bit. Lightning, I don't know, but then again, she's changing various costumes, alternating her powers to defeat the monsters and save the world in 13 days. I just don't know how the Lara Croft's costume is going to help with that. I don't know.
I think
that like they want you to take it seriously. Up until this last entire game, but don't take it seriously as we add in all these other Mickey Mouse costumes. Right.
I think these characters are too iconic to mix the franchises. I think that's why I'm so okay with the Sleeping Dogs change, because those characters, they're not Lara Croft. They're not Lightning. They're not someone who you come to see. It's almost like just one-offs of those characters. It's not something huge that has its own franchise. I guess that's my quarrel with it.
Well, to go with what you're saying, Flip, I think like if you look at the Just Cause 2, Rico Rodriguez's costume, which Just Cause 2 is a pretty fun game, and it's like that's something that looks like it could fit in the world of like Sleeping Dogs.
Right.
It fits that world. Whereas, I could see like my biggest issue would be the Lara Croft costume not really fitting in the Final Fantasy 13 world, and I would dare say the same about the Cloud costume.
I was going to ask you about that.
The Ares, visually they don't fit into that world, so still that kind of stands out. Granted, it's the same series of games, but the world isn't the same. So I think that's where the issue comes in at. Like for 13.2, I think I bought all the additional costumes except the Mass Effect ones for Sarah and Noel, and it's just because it's I've seen that in 3 Mass Effect games, so it wasn't something special or like overly needed. But going to like 13 Lightning Returns, it just seems like some of these are, it's cool that you get to make her look like Cloud, you get to make her look like Yuna, you get to make her look like Ares or Ares, however it's being pronounced this decade. But it's they just don't fit that world of Final Fantasy, of the the Final Fantasy 13 world. If
Right.
it was like an integration of all the Final Fantasy games, and maybe it's a little different, swapping costumes, but and especially to throw like a Tomb Raider costume in there, it's way out in left field, for it. So like it'd be neat for the novelty of it, but I'd say that's really about it.
Yeah. See, you kind of brought up a good point, and it kind of made me start second guessing myself on what I just said, because the Cloud costume and the Aerith costume, I'm all for. I'm so excited about those. I think Cloud and Aerith were my two favorite characters in Final Fantasy VII. I think that's amazing that those costumes are there. And I just caught myself. I'm like, why is that okay, and Lara Croft isn't? I'm being too picky here, and I don't know.
To ease your mind a little bit here, those fit better than Lara Croft.
They don't, though. I can give you the same argument I just gave about Lara Croft about Cloud.
Oh, it's like they fit like it's it's like with that you're taking with those Final Fantasy VII costumes and Final Fantasy X costumes, you're taking a square that's small enough to fit in this circle hole. But the Lara Croft, the square you're trying to fit in that circle is too big. They don't match up, but one is small enough where it'll still fit through, or it kind of works. And one doesn't work at all.
Right.
And it's just the world of it, and it's like it. Not to say like I'm not excited about the Cloud costume because I think it'll be pretty neat. I probably would prefer like Vincent and Tifa because those are or Sid because those are my favorites from the game. But I would shell out $2 for those costumes if anyone at Square is gonna watch and listen. But $6 right there. But it's like it's more or less to as fans of the series, we enjoy seeing those little things like that to come back in. It's like every time you play a Final Fantasy game, whenever you need Sid, Wedge, in that iteration, it's always fun to see
Right.
who they are, what they are in this game compared to the last game.
That's true. Every time I see Sid in every Final Fantasy, I get excited. It happened in Final Fantasy 13, happened in the MMO in 14.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things that those costume throwbacks are nice for the fans that have enjoyed it. It fits a lot better than Lara Croft, but it's still out of place in that specific world.
So here we have, really, I guess what it's coming down to is that now Lightning is the ultimate cosplayer, right? And so
I guess.
In that light, it doesn't matter which costume she has available to her because she's going to wear it well. I just hope she kicks butt. That's all.
Yeah.
One more interesting thing about the Lightning Returns, and I've re-downloaded the demo. We talked about this a little bit last week, but there's a monster that you have to defeat to end the demo,
Right.
or at least to end the demo, before you end the demo, and the monster's pretty tough. It took me like 5 minutes to beat him, and apparently there's folks out there that beat him in 45 seconds, or a minute and 25 seconds. You know what I'm talking about, my guy?
I use the Lancer, the Dragon Lance suits, the one that has those abilities, and it makes like you build up the multipliers like so quick with that thing, and then when you finally get to attack with it, like a big attack with it, it really pays off.
Yeah, so that's what I'm hearing. So there's like most Final Fantasy games, you have buff, debuff, and you come back with magical attacks, and so the interplay between the various costumes and how they work to attack your enemy's weakness is pretty impressive. So I wanted to, since we're getting so close to it, I wanted to try to master a little bit of that.
Yeah.
And try to figure out why it took me 5 minutes to beat something that everybody else beats in less than a minute.
So, like, I haven't played the demo yet. I'm still in Final Fantasy 13 right now. Are these costume changes similar to like the paradigm shifts in Final Fantasy 13?
Yeah.
That's okay. That was kind of my.
They're very fluid. Mike, was it R1 or L1? You literally can just scroll back and forth through your costumes. You can set them up. I think the max level right now is 3. I'm hoping that somehow as you progress, you can add in a fourth costume. But I think the game starts you off with 6 costumes total. You can load whatever 3 you want. Mike already mentioned the dragon one, which is the super powerful one. Uh, but I can see how it's all about strategy. That's the reason why I really liked the Final Fantasy 13 Battle Combat. I thought
Right.
the flipping through those, and executing them on point was awesome. And that fighting.
I liked it till I got the
Very,
Sentinel.
very enjoyable. So this is new,
Yeah.
and I'm hoping that it's just as enjoyable.
Yeah. All right. Just a couple more news things. There's 2 things left. Disney Infinity. I don't know if you guys ever played that. It's similar to Skylanders, not really exactly the same. It's still enjoyable because you have your Disney characters. I actually have every Disney Infinity character right now. I haven't finished the game though. I still need to go back and get some more time into that. But they announced Star Wars and Marvel characters are coming to Disney Infinity. So.
Now, is it like additions to it with them, or their own separate games? Because it's like from like how I understood the announcement was they're going to give like Star Wars the Infinity treatment and Marvel the Infinity treatment. Because it like either way, it's they're going to get money from me just by the inclusion of Marvel characters.
Right.
So
I don't know. They could do it either way. Like Skylanders is annualized. But Disney Infinity has the character playsets. Like they have the Frozen playset that just recently came out. They've added the Wreck-It Ralph characters. So I'd imagine they just do like a Star Wars playset. But it is getting pretty close to the time where Disney Infinity 2 could come out, and it could just have those playsets in the starter pack. So I didn't see any announcement of what exactly they're doing there, but I'd imagine with the new consoles, they'd probably want the game to come out on those new consoles, and a re-release of the game, or a second release of the game, like a sequel, would make sense now.
Yeah, especially with the inclusion of characters. I'm such a mark when it comes for that. I'll more than likely pick it up then.
Yeah.
Give it a go because it seems like it'd be fun.
Right. I was surprised at that announcement. I didn't think they were actually going to do it. A lot of people wanted it. Everyone's been asking for it, but I did not think they were going to go for it. Especially when they just recently canceled 1313. I didn't think they were going to do anything with the Disney Infinity. But they answered the fans' call.
It's not surprising because they've got 2 cash cows right there with Marvel and Star Wars, and so they're stupid. And from a fan's point of view, Star Wars not so much, but Marvel, yes. That's it's to not like get as much of that as they can from those investments or those purchases, which was I think like total around $10 billion. So between the two, so they're definitely going to want to get everything they can out of it and exploit it, as much as they can, to our benefits, to some degree and to our detriment, because they might, oversaturate, the market with stuff that we don't want.
Yeah. I don't think that's ever going to happen because they re-release Skylanders all the time, and no one's complaining about a saturated market. Some characters have 3 different iterations of the same figure, so.
Well, when it comes to toy collectors.
Yeah. People will buy anything.
We'll buy anything. I can't count how many repaints of Transformers that are labeled as different character, just with a different coat of paint.
You should see my shelf. I've got like 50 different Skylanders and every Disney Infinity character just right there.
I believe you, and
Yeah.
if I weren't a hat, I'd tip it to you. That kind of commitment.
The last news thing we have, which I think we might be talking about this one for a little while. Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. They announced the length of it. There's a big issue here. Apparently, it's only 2 hours long. 2 hours long. I think the game is $20 on PS3, $30 on PS4, and then $10 more if you want the disc. They said that I think it was Kotaku or GameSpot, one of the two of them, said that they played the demo and it was only 2 hours long. The developers came back and said that that's just the initial gameplay. If you rush from start to finish, it's that long, but there's still more time with the side quests. So I was wondering, what's your opinion here? How much gameplay would you take, or do you think would warrant a $10 price tag?
Well, consider the fact that back in the day I spent $50 on the Metal Gear Solid 2 demo that came with Zone of the Enders, and enjoyed the heck out of it. And Zone of the Enders was a fantastic game itself. But I'll be honest. Originally, my intent was to purchase the retail release of Metal Gear Solid 5 for the PlayStation 4. But after hearing how long it's going to be, it kind of got me backtracking a little bit and me thinking about which way I want to go with it. Like, Metal Gear games are things that I collect. I've got the Legacy Collection, the HD Collection, 4 in the special box and that it came in, and that's essentially, copies of the same game. That is copies of the same games right there. But it's something that I want to have a physical copy of.
Right.
But do I want to pay $40 right off the bat for it? It depends on the experience. I may do the $30 PS4 and completely love it and feel that there's plenty to do and it was worth it. But it's after hearing how long the actual story takes, it has definitely got me thinking about the route I'm going to go to purchase a game and play it.
Right. All games aside and all biases aside, how much do you think a video game, its pricing structure is worth? If you pay, we'll just use a flat amount, $10, how much gameplay do you expect to get out of that $10 to satisfy you? I know there are some games that RPGs are going to be way more, and a BioShock that we just talked about earlier is going to be a lot shorter, or Outlast. We talked about that, where I said I didn't feel like 4 hours was worth the $20. But where do you guys draw the line? For a $10 price point, how much gameplay do you feel that you should get?
Well, I'll use the best example that I can use. I think Guacamelee is $15 brand new, correct?
Right, but all games aside, just.
I can't give a blanket statement. I really can't.
Oh, okay.
Because it depends on the game, and Guacamelee, I bought it on sale for $4 on PSN, and I think for something like that, I probably would have been willing to spend up to the $10 range, but not going over 10 for because of the length of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's such a trying not to be objective. It almost is an objective question because it's really going to be based on the game, how much you want it, how big of a fan you are of the franchise. So
I think, to your point, and the reason why it's so objective, I think that's exactly where Kojima was going. He knew how much time, how much development was put into the game. Now, there's a couple of aspects that we don't know, right? We know that the main story can be beaten between 1.5 to 2 hours. What are the other side elements to it? How much did that consume? Does that consume of the gameplay? When you take into consideration that a game like Demon's Soul can be sped run through, and you can beat that game in less than 5 hours, but yet I've spent over hundreds and hundreds of hours in that game. So, with respect to the pricing structure, I'm going to pay for the $30 PS4 version.
That's the digital version, right?
Yeah.
With a developer the amount of detail and love and care that he puts into his games, I'm going to breathe it all up. Metal Gear Solid 4 was absolutely beautiful, and it was beautiful before games became beautiful on the PS3. So with respect to this, I'm going to trust them, and I'm going to expect, and hopefully we'll start to hear the PR engine start to move. We'll hear what other gameplay elements come into play and how long the totality of the game is. Right. But to answer your question, Flip, if it's $30 for 2 hours, that's unacceptable. I just don't believe that's the case, though.
Yeah. See, for me, I usually don't have an issue with it until it comes down to like DLC. When they start charging $10, like Saints Row 4. Terrible DLC. Didn't have any fun with it. Really short, $7.50 each. I think you get the season pass for $10, and that's what I did.
Yeah.
So I kind of made it a little more easy to deal with. But I think for me, I use the same format for like a movie. It's like $10 for a movie. It's usually 2 hours long. I think that's usually where my sweet spot is for something that's 2 hours long. It should be about $10. So I guess Outlast, $20 for 4 hours. I shouldn't have any complaints with. I actually got it for free, but so I guess it would be worth it. What?
I want to kind of pull an old example, out. I'm sure you guys both remember the bouncer on PlayStation 2, and like how hype that was, and like everybody, there's a lot of positive buzz about it going into it, and then bam, when it came out, we spent $50 on this, anticipated game from Square, and you can beat it in, literally 30 minutes.
Right.
And in about almost an hour's time, you beat the game with every character in it, and it's something like that where the game was, it was a fun game. It wasn't a great game by any stretch of the imagination, but honestly, that was kind of a blatant ripoff. If it's something like that, then it doesn't make it worthwhile for the purchase. But if the game's enjoyable and you enjoy it, you get a lot of enjoyment of those 2 hours, then it was worthwhile. Because think about it, like you said, going to the movie, you're willing to spend $10 for like a 2-hour movie. Well, if it's a movie you really like, I would make the assumption you might buy it on Blu-ray or like digital download, spend another $15-$20 on it for that same 2-hour experience. Now, I don't know if that's exactly the case for you there or not, but I know like certain movies, like after I go see them in the theater, if I really like them, I'll want to purchase them for myself because I want to rewatch them again. So that $10 quickly becomes $30 that I'm spending on that 2-hour movie, and I don't watch a lot of the extras that come on the discs are included in the digital downloads when I buy it digitally. But so it really depends on what it is. So some things are worth it and some things aren't, and it's just where we fall on that, on our personal preferences meter, where that falls in at.
Yeah. I do want to ask, you said you wouldn't pay more than $10 for Guacamelee, and I was just curious why that was. Because that's, I think 6 to 8 hours, I think is where that game falls. And then if you're going for trophies, it's a second playthrough. But
well, don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed it and I liked it. Mm-hmm. It's I think it took me like between 4 and 5 hours to beat it.
Okay, maybe my time is off. It's been a while.
It's right. You're right about there. 4 to 6, the medium being 5. So, it's just a matter of how long you kind of stretch it out. But I just didn't feel like playing it. Like I loved it. I really enjoyed it. But I didn't really feel like this was, at least to me, something that I'd really want to jump on paying $15 for. I guess.
Can you identify why that is, though?
It's just I guess like a personal preference.
Okay.
Maybe I didn't feel it was long enough to warrant like $15, or maybe because I bought it for like $4. Yeah,
I'm not trying to say you're wrong, and
no.
I love Guacamelee. You should pay $1 million for it. I'm not nothing like that.
I wish I could a much a better answer than what I'm struggling to come up with here, but yeah. I guess the best thing I could say is, it's something I paid $4 for. I think it regularly retails at like $15. So for the experience that I got out of it, and I felt like it exceeded that $4.
Right.
But like what I've been willing to go 10 on it, like DuckTales Remastered, it's like maybe this will kind of help. Like I bought it for 15, because got it when it was on sale before it released. But I don't know. I kind of feel like, again, 10 would have been a better price for it. Just from my personal opinion.
Which game was that? I missed what you said.
DuckTales Remastered.
Okay.
And then I more or less bought it because I love the original DuckTales for NES, and so it was more of a nostalgia thing that suckered me in, and they could do it with several other games, and I'd spend the money on. But overall, did I feel 15 and 20 what it regularly goes for was worth it? Not really. But,
yeah. So I guess for the most part, you kind of do have to take this on a game-to-game basis and how you feel about the game, but I don't know. I'll be curious to see if all the Metal Gear fans are willing to pay $20 to $40 for the game. I guess we'll have to wait until the game comes out in April and find out. But
the answer is absolutely yes.
Yeah.
I think we talk about Metal Gear fans, and I'm one of them.
I think they'll initially buy it, but I have a feeling there'll be a ton of complaints in various forums and lots of negative feedback after they play it.
Yeah, so there's apparently five additional submissions involved.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I don't know how long it's going to take to do those submissions. If we are to believe that they're 1 hour apiece, slightly lower than or less than the main mission, then we're talking about a 7-hour game, right?
Right.
Open world game. So
yeah. They also said this game is supposed to be like the tutorial for Metal Gear Solid 5.
He calls it a tutorial, but it's also a prequel.
Right. He said it was a prequel, but he said it was a prequel, but it would serve as a tutorial.
Yeah, and considering where he was coming from with that, he also spoke about the fact that it's a very different type of play style than the previous Metal Gears, and so he wants folks to be very, very comfortable with the play style before they go into the Phantom Pain. If these 5 submissions are 1 hour apiece, then we're talking about 7 hours for total, and next gen Metal Gear game, full next gen glory. I'm okay with that. $30.
Yeah. See, I don't think I am. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna play it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we'll see how I feel about it. But like I said, I don't think it's worth the $30 or $40. I think. I guess it's just the statement he made that the game serves as a tutorial. That makes me feel like the same complaint I had with Remember Me, where you're getting your handheld through the entire thing. I don't want to pay $40 for a tutorial, like an epilogue or a prologue of a video game. It seems weird to me.
I think that the gift also a little bit of wiggle room because of translation issues. I don't think you literally meant it as a tutorial, but that's something that we have to that is going to prepare us for.
That's fair.
The campaign. But I trust that guy. Man, I trust him. There's just very few developers who employ the care that he does in his game, the subtle details that immerse you into that story, into that world. And then his storylines, his writers, his ideas are just bottleneck crazy, and I like that. And they all interweb and back together. So I can't imagine the amount of Easter eggs that's going to be in this thing.
I just wonder if they're using their fan base and taking advantage of them. Just like, hey, let's see if we can get everybody to pay $40 for this 2-hour game. Let's laugh it behind our desk while we make all this money.
I'll be part of that sample study.
Yeah, I don't know.
Here's a question along the same vein that I kind of want to kind of I guess get a feel for this. Like Assassin's Creed 4, Freedom Cry is going to become its own PSN game for $15. So, I wouldn't pay $15 for that by itself, I guess.
Right.
Like $15 for it as DLC, I think was too much.
Is that how much it was for the DLC package? I have the season pass, so I don't know how much it was individually.
Yeah, it's like I think it's like $15 individually. So like I even think that was too much. Like, granted, I like enjoyed my time in Freedom Cry and playing as Adewale, but if I were to buy it separately, I think without the season pass, I think I would have been disappointed.
It was $10. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's $10.
Yeah.
Okay, well then I guess like I $10 I'd be perfectly fine with for the amount of content that was in that
Okay.
and how long it lasted. Like anything more than that, I think would have been too much.
Yeah. Yeah, I think DLC is usually where they kind of break my rule, my 2-hour $10 sweet spot. It's usually with various DLC packages where I have issues. Anyway, I'm curious to see what all the viewers think. So if you guys if you're watching the stream, if you want to talk about this a little bit in the chat box or call in, or if you're watching it on YouTube, I'd be curious to see what you guys think, how much you'd pay for a certain amount of content. So.
Did anyone get any one of us play the Metal Gear Rising DLC for that?
I didn't finish the game, so I didn't care for the DLC.
Because I didn't get the DLC just because it's I'm still on the final boss on it, but I never tried the DLC just because I kind of read, to be honest, it wasn't worth the money because of how short it was and the price you're paying for it.
Yeah.
So
I might look and check it out. I really enjoyed Metal Gear Rising, and I really enjoyed the final boss fight. Kicked my butt, and it took me a while to get through them. You know, just because we're on the topic, what's so frustrating with Metal Gear Rising is that the tediousness by which you have to defeat the boss to get the platinum without getting hit. It's just incredibly problematic. It's a 30-minute process of you just blocking until somebody gets tired out. But no, I haven't got the DLC, my guy. But I am gonna look at it. I don't think I have Metal Gear Rising anymore. But I need to check.
Okay.
Like if there was a pack, because I think like how I got all the costumes for Final Fantasy 13-2 was I eventually bought like the DLC bundle for it, which came with everything together. So like I found that kind of worthwhile. And if they offered something like that for like Metal Gear Rising, I would be more inclined to like revisit it and play that DLC if I could buy it all grouped together at reduced cost.
Yeah. All right. I do want to do a quick shout out to Cheeks19. He's been here every week. Seems to really enjoy the show. So just a quick shout out to him. Thanks for your support. Thanks for checking out the show each week. Maybe eventually you'll be able to call in. We've got some prizes for you if you're able to.
We appreciate it, Cheeks.
Yeah.
Tell your friends, tell your family.
So, we're getting pretty close to the 2-hour mark here, so I want to try to wrap the rest of this up fairly quickly. I just have 2 more things I wanted to briefly talk about. Like I said, pretty briefly. Did you guys check out the gameplay for Middle-earth: Shadows of Mordor?
Yes.
What'd you think of it?
Yes, I'm actually in love with it.
You're in love with it? Yeah, it looks really good.
A lot of controversy associated with the gameplay assets, mechanics with respect to grappling, traversing wires, and the fighting style. I could care less. What was the old adage? Duplication is the best form of flattery. But I don't know how duplicate it is, but it looks incredibly interesting, and I cannot wait to start making those orcs my minions to go carry out my deeds.
Yeah, that game looks really good.
In the actual demo was that you can actually control and or mark orcs
right.
to have them execute certain processes or plans. So, new element to it from a strategic perspective, and apparently it's very open world with respect to how you execute whatever mission that you have in front of you. So yeah, so super excited about it, man.
Yeah, I watched that gameplay trailer or video, and I was on board. I think it looks phenomenal. And then a few days ago, I found I don't know where it came from. I saw it on it was like suggested to me on YouTube when I was doing some uploading or something. It was like taken from a conference. Like someone was recording a screen for Infamous Second Son, and they did like one of the first missions, and some guy was talking about what was going on the screen, and then he had a translator. So it seemed pretty professional. So I think it was from some conference, but I don't know what it could have been. But it was like a 5-minute video. Showed the first, I don't know if it was the first mission, but one of the early missions. Showed off the neon powers and the smoke powers and the flying and the mechanics, and that looks incredible. Like I thought Shadows of Mordor was going to be like one of the best games that came out this year just from that trailer, and then I saw this, and this blew that out of the water. It looks amazing. Just the combat, how fluid it is. It looks like it's going to be great. I'm very, very excited for Second Son.
Yeah. That little mini, what was it, in Tokyo?
I have no idea.
The Second Son trailer?
I don't know where it came from.
Well, wherever that trailer was demoed, I think it was either in China or what, very, very fluid. And apparently, right, and this is what you just was saying, outside the neon, outside of the smoke, there'll be additional powers that he can absorb.
Are there? I thought there was only the two.
Game's freaking ridiculous.
Yeah, I thought there was only the 2 powers. I thought that's what I heard. I don't know.
That's the only list that we've seen. I've heard something very early on that he'll be able to absorb additional powers as well. Could be wrong.
I don't know.
I'm right, but that's what I'm hearing.
I think the way they introduced the flight, like he turned into smoke, or he was smoke and then went into the vent and shot up at the top of the air duct. That was really cool. And then he was flying, and then he could like shoot fire from his hands to like keep himself gravitating.
Did you catch the trail though when he was skyscraping across the sky and climbing walls when he was neon form?
Yeah.
How there was a trail.
Right.
Clearly way across the actual field of view.
Yeah, just like if you take like a neon light and shake it, how you have that trail for a little while. Yeah, it looks really good. It's gonna be great. Which comes out on a Friday. I didn't know that until just recently. I'm so used to games coming on Tuesday. I don't know why they're trying to mix up the formula on me. So I'm gonna have to take that day off work. I have my schedule set up so I have every Tuesday off, and sometimes I've had it that way for 6 years. But yeah, I always have Tuesday, Wednesdays off.
There's always been a couple of games a year that I typically take off. And lately, it's always been either the Demon Souls or Dark Souls games, and but this one looks like, I might have to do the midnight launch deal.
Right. Yeah. All right. So we talked about all the news things I wanted to discuss. Talked about the games. We've got the new release schedule for this week. Dust Force. We've talked about all of these already, but Dust Force came out on PSN for $10, PS3 and Vita. Probably cross-buy, but I'm not sure. Outlast on PSN, free for PlayStation Plus. If you don't have Plus, which you should, $20. Wolf Among Us Episode 2, $5. I think the season pass is $20. Hopefully you guys picked it up on the sale for $13.49. I didn't do it either. I meant to do it, and I've.
3 days ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I should have picked it up too. I meant to pick up that and Enslaved, and then I didn't buy either of them. And then tomorrow, Lego the Movie, the video game comes out. I'm actually, after we wrap this up, I'm going to go pick that up, and I'm going to start playing that at midnight. So I'll be live streaming the whole thing. If you guys are looking forward to any of that, I haven't decided if I'm going to get it on PS3 or PS4. I don't know. It goes back to the topic, or the conversation we were just having. On the Vita, it's $29.99, which is usually the console or the portable version of the game. I don't know if that's the case in this one. I imagine it would be since it's open world. $49.99 is PS3 and Xbox 360, and $59.99 is PS4 and Xbox One. So I'm not sure which one I'm going to get. Are you guys picking this up at all? Are you looking forward to it? It's the first PS4 game we've gotten in a long time.
I'm not, but
yeah.
My guy.
I may, if I do it, it won't be right away. I may like try a demo for it first, and go from there. But it's like I had the same issue with Lego Marvel until I was able to get it for I think like $25 when I bought it. That I didn't want to pay the full $50 it was going for, but I got it for a cheaper price. So I went ahead and pulled the trigger on it. So probably be the same thing with like Lego Movie. Check out a demo of it. See if something that I'm interested in, and then either pick it up or rent it.
Yeah, I'm always a sucker for the Lego games. I love them. I don't know why. I've played almost all of them. I platinumed a pretty big chunk of them, so I'm looking forward to this one. For Lego Marvel Superheroes, when that came out on the PS3, I think I was either the second or the third person to get the Platinum Trophy. So I'm going for World First this time. Both last time, it happened for Skylander Swap Force too. Both those came out around the same time. I didn't know that I was closing in on the Platinum and nobody else had gotten it yet until really late in the game. So this time, I'm getting it at midnight. I have a pretty short work week next week, or tomorrow. Or pretty short work day tomorrow. So I'm going to try to just power through it, get through as much of it as I can. When I live streamed Lego Marvel Superheroes, it was a lot of fun. I had a pretty big audience watching, and I did it almost like the 40 hours almost straight because I enjoyed the game that much. But it was really cool. People would watch for a pretty extended amount of time, and then they'd have to go to work or go to sleep or whatever, and they come back, and they every time that somebody would leave and come back, they'd always wonder what characters I got. So I'd go through the little list of characters, and they'd want to see their favorites, and that's not going to happen this time because the movie cast isn't as iconic as the Marvel characters, but I'm looking forward to a similar experience that I'm probably not going to get.
That's something that I love with Lego Marvel was like all the characters in there you guys play with.
Yeah.
So definitely hope we get a sequel to that.
Yeah. I'm probably going to buy it on PS4 and then trade it in and get use that credit for the Vita version. I think that's the smartest route to take, but I don't know.
Separate trophies.
Yeah, it's a triple platinum. Yep, triple platinum.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it all the Legos? Is all the Legos like that?
Lego Marvel Superheroes has 3 because there's the PS3, the PS4, and the Vita version is different. Every game prior to Lego Marvel is Vita and PS3, 2 trophies, because they're completely different games. So the trophy list is different also.
Wow. When you start getting into Legos, is that what I'm hearing here?
It's fun. I don't know what it is. I've always liked them. They're not complicated. They're not hard to do. The trophy lists are pretty similar. This one's no different. It's the exact same format. Beat the levels, get all the stuff on free play, get all the characters, and do various things with certain characters. And then all this one's an open world one, so there's some side missions. The new aspect of this game, I guess you can actually construct. You get like blueprints, and you actually have to build different buildings throughout the city. And that's like the niche thing that they're adding to this game. Like Lord of the Rings, there's the voice acting. Batman, it was the open world. Lego Marvel Superheroes didn't really have anything. It just kind of took the open world format and went a step further with it. This time you're actually constructing the city, so it looks pretty cool.
Let me ask you here. Have you played Lego Marvel on Vita?
I haven't. I played the Batman one on Vita, but I haven't played Marvel.
Because I was looking at the trophy list for it the other day, and it seemed like it was like basically the exact same for the PS4. I was just kind of wondering because I would be tempted to pick it up on Vita and give it a go.
I know it's different. It's not the same as the console version because the open world isn't there. And I know there's like various challenges you have to do that aren't in the console edition at all. But I haven't played the Vita one. I meant to buy it. I wanted to buy it, but when I did, it was just before Christmas. There's I think it was the flash sale for Black Friday. Mm-hmm. I knew I was going on a Christmas vacation. I was going to be gone for a few days, so I'd have a lot of Vita time. So I picked up Tearaway on that sale, and then I got Batman instead of Lego Marvel Superheroes. And I'm kicking myself for doing that. I'm regretting it, but eventually I'll go back and get it.
Might be something I check out on there and
yeah,
maybe make that my first Vita Platinum.
Nice.
I was just going to let that be Drake and his mobile adventure.
So far I like Golden Abyss, what I've played of it.
Oh yeah.
But
okay.
the shooting mechanics are going to do me in. and it's a little hard to get used to on it. But like I've enjoyed like the first, I think I'm about 2 chapters in at the moment. I've gotten swept up in playing Lunar on the PSP, but like I've really enjoyed that, and but I don't think I could go push for the platinum in it just because the shooting mechanics are a little rough on me.
You can adjust those. You can adjust the sway, the tilt mechanism that allows you to get angles, if I can remember. But I do know, to your point, it is a little difficult to get used to up front, but eventually it becomes very, very, very tight. But yeah, that was my first Vita Platinum.
Nice. I don't remember what my first Vita Platinum was. I have no idea. It's been a while. It was one of the early releases. I can't remember what it was. The only other thing we have to talk about is what comes out next week. We've got, like I said, the Lego game comes out tomorrow, which I'll be live streaming at midnight if you guys want to check it out. If any of the viewers want to check it out, I should be playing it quite extensively over the course of the weekend until I finish it up. If I think it's really good, I'm actually going to try to give it away next week. Do a giveaway. So if you guys are interested in that, be sure to check back next week, Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 o'clock Eastern. Probably do a giveaway for the. If I think it's good. If it's not worth anybody's time, I'm not going to do that. But we've got that coming out tomorrow. The 11th, we have Lightning Returns, Final Fantasy 13, and Tukaiden Age of Demons for the Vita. So. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we end this?
We're going to talk about the Wolf Among Us, right?
Right. I'm going to end the podcast, and then we'll come back with the spoiler cast afterwards.
Okay.
Just so they're 2 separate episodes, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're starting to get the format of this whole podcast thing down. We didn't have any technical issues. I think we had a pretty good show. Kind of lengthy, though. A little bit longer than I wanted, but we had a lot of news to talk about. So next week we'll be talking about what comes out over the next few days. Hopefully there's some new news to talk about. And just want to say thank you all for watching, however you're checking it out. Like I said, I still haven't been able to get it up on YouTube, or on iTunes, I'm sorry. But we've got it up on YouTube. You can check it out there. We're always live every Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 o'clock Eastern. And if you're able to catch the live show, we have a call-in number. You guys could call in and talk about anything you want, anything gaming related, and probably win some pretty awesome prizes. We've got PSN cards, games. I've got a capture card I want to give away. So.
Capture card.
Yeah. Yep. The prizes just keep piling up. And like I said, next week we might do a Lego game. So I'm going to go ahead and end the show here. So thank you all for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. Look forward to hearing all your feedback, and hopefully we'll see you next week. But thanks for watching.